watch anything again. So good afternoon, everybody. It's April 23rd, and today we're going to do listing landing pages. So to go ahead and begin, I'm gonna share my screen. Everyone keep in mind that we have the chat feature here on Zoom. So as I'm going over something, if you want to stick something in the chat, if something pops in your mind, I'll go and look at that, and I'll take some breaks where we can unmute ourselves and we can all have a conversation. All right. So again, just to set this up a little bit today, we're going to do listing landing pages. And so to get started, we're going to be in command, right? So agent.kw.com. Go ahead and log in. And we're going to spend the majority of our time today in the consumer applet down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, we've done this a couple times this week, but it is good and it is the right thing to do to go into your settings and make sure your marketing profile is filled out correctly, right? So remember, I'm just going to hit this again. If you've been on the calls all this week, you've heard this 10 times. This profile is for agents, right? And what they see, if you go in here to settings and you go to the connect settings section, we have a marketing library, and that's where you're able to put in your headshot and your logo and your contact information, your website. So again, under settings and then over here under connect settings, marketing profile. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is because when we create these listing landing pages, we're able to put up like branded headers where we just have to pull in a widget and it'll feed that widget from this spot. Okay, so we don't have to like upload our picture every time we create one of these. So it is best interest to make sure that this is filled out here. All right. Any questions on the marketing profile? Okay, so let's all head down. If you're following along or watching my screen, we're going to go down here to consumer. It should be your last icon. So click on consumer, and we're going to come to this consumer dashboard. Now, we've done the website class a couple times, and so this is obviously where you come to also work on your website and build your website. So Cindy had asked a question right before we had started about, hey, what's the difference between when you go up top here and you say, I want to create a new site, it gives you these two options, right? Is it going to be on your agent site or is it going to be a standalone page? So if I go to my website, right, and I got this kyleh.kw.com.
Kyle, can I add on to Cindy's?
Sure.
So as you do this, there are some widgets that exist in the site pages that don't exist in the landing pages or vice versa.
Correct.
There any? So I know they're different, and you're going to explain that. But is there also plans to make at least the widgets, the designing part of it, similar?
Yes, I have heard that. So the main one, obviously, we're talking about is probably the listing widget, right?
Yes.
The listing widget, which is what we're going to do today, is only on the landing page side. Okay, and I have heard that they do want to bring over those widgets to the other side as well. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we've got over here. That's Chesapeake Bay. Who just said that? I like that. Who was that? Kimberly. All right. So what we got over here is in my drop down. You can see on my website, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Okay. So when I go back to command here and I say I want to create a new site and it wants to be on my agent's site, that is if you want it to be in the drop down on your agent website. Okay. A standalone page is exactly that. So I can create basically an individual website. And a lot of agents do this, right? They'll create an individual website for a listing that highlights that listing, right? So that's the difference. And so what we're going to do is we're going to build the landing page today. And then after we build that, we'll be able to see what the difference is between the two. And then you have to make a decision on, hey, what do I, which one do I want to use basically? All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now on the dashboard underneath the consumer, these are all the different landing pages that I've created. So if you just haven't created any, and most of these are dead links, right, that don't really go anywhere, but I've used in training. If you don't see any here, that's okay. You will see one once we go through this process. All right. Now, who has an active listing? Does anyone have an active listing that's been on active for a couple days? All right, Jeanette was the first one I saw raise a hand. Jeanette, what's the address of your property? You're muted right now, so if you don't mute.
41488.
41488.
Deer Point, DEERPOINT.
So we're going to try to use that one, all right, as we go throughout this process. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create a new site. And I've got the option here where it's on my agent site or again as a standalone page. So we're going to do the standalone page because that's what we're going to call the landing page. All right, hit create page. So the first thing we come into is this editing tool. where we are able to then drag and drop these different widgets over here on the right side. So you guys can see that we've got, I think they're up to like 10 widgets now. Agent branding, lead form. Think of these as Legos. All right, so the way that the widgets work is you can actually grab these widgets and pull them over and stack them, okay? And so that way they can, that's the way they're gonna show up. So the first one I'll pull over is, just as an example, is the branded header. So all I do is I click on branded header, don't let go, just click and hold, and then you drag and drop that widget over onto the page. And you can see there, I've got that green line, and if I release that branded header, it's gonna show up like this. All right, now because I filled out my marketing profile, my headshot, my contact information, my logo, and the KW logo have come in. All right, now for the class today, obviously we talked about doing a listing landing page. So what I want to do is I want to point over here, you've got a listing widget. All right, so I'm going to click on this widget, same thing, I'm going to drag and drop it over here onto the page, and I'm going to let it go. Now, this is where a lot of people get stuck. So this is a two-step process. Step one is selecting your widgets and organizing those widgets in the proper order. Two is going to be customizing the widget. All right, so when I pull that widget over here, this is clearly not the listing, right? And that's okay right now. We will go in and we will actually select the listing that'll fill in this template here. All right, so I've got a widget here with my header. I've now got the listing widget, and as I scroll down, you guys will see here that this is a kind of a really nice templated looking landing page. All this data is going to be pulled out of the MLS. All right, so that's where this widget is going to get all the data from. And then we'll have a whole gallery of photos. We'll have some of the details and features about the listing, and then you'll have a map of where that listing is. Okay, so that's all what's included in that listing widget. Everybody follow me so far? All right, good. See some head shake. So the last one that I'm going to bring in for the sake of the call today, and I would ask you, again, if you're on this call, go mess with this. Even if you don't launch a live one, go play with it a little bit so you get used to the clicks. But the other one I want to make sure I always add in here is the lead form, right? So that if someone gets to this website, I can capture their information if they're trying to get in touch with me. So if I click on lead form and I drag it over, right, I'm going to move it towards the bottom, and there's a little green line that shows up at the bottom. And now I've got the interested let's talk lead form. So let's go back to that Legos analogy. So I just stacked 3 Legos on top of each other to get this view. First was the branded header. Second was the listing widget. And then down at the bottom, I brought in the lead form widget. Now, there are a couple other widgets over here that you might want to go look at. There's a Market Snap one in there. There's a download my mobile app, right? So I'm going to pull this up here. So you can see that when I pull this in, I can move it around the page because of that green line. So if I wanted to drop down the download my mobile app, I could drop it right there. All right, now this would make a lot of sense for the listing because then this would be the first thing they would see, right? See how it's stacked on top? So what I can do is I can actually click on download my mobile app, and I can either delete a widget. So in this case, if I wanted to delete the widget, I can do that here, or I can click on this little cursor and move it around. All right, so I'm going to delete this one. Let's go back to our original 3. And then maybe what I'll do is let's add it back in. I'll do it down towards the bottom. So I'm going to grab download my mobile app, and I'm going to put that maybe at the bottom below the interested let's talk. Okay, so that's just like the last little thing down there that they're going to see. All right, everybody good on that? So that's step 1, right, which is pulling over those widgets. Those late to the call, just want to let you know, we're going to do like the basics the first 20 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to show you a more advanced thing that you can do here to add in like a Matterport tour or something like that. All right, so that was step 1. Step 2 is going to start by clicking on configure widgets down here at the bottom. This is not the most obvious thing in the world. So if you're not kind of watching the screen or doing the clicks, you might get lost here a little bit. So I'm going to say, now I'm going to configure the widgets. All right, and you can see here that it's brought me into this little screen. For some of you, it might default to a view that looks like this, right? Where it's saying, okay, these are the 4 widgets that I just brought onto the page. So now I have the opportunity to customize each of the 4. So I'm going to click on branded header, and it's already pulled in my information, right? My headshot, you can change any of that out. But I also have the opportunity here to do a header text. See right here, it says header text. And so this is where I could come in potentially and type in, thanks for, let's just type the address. I'll do 41488 Deer Point Lane. I'll just make it, all right? Then when I come down here at the bottom and I click Save and Apply, I should see the preview now will show up over here on the left-hand side, and it'll show me what that now looks like. All right, so now it's 41488 Deer Point Lane. So that doesn't need to be the address, right? That could be your tagline. That could say the cruise group, right? I see Arturo's on the call. So that headline, just notice, right, is part of the first widget and can be anything you want it to be. Everybody good? All right. So the next step is, you see up here where it says 1 of 4. So those are the 4 widgets. I've done the first one. I can click this arrow, and now it takes me to number 2, which is the listing widget. Now, quick caveat here. I have to select the listing from the portal. So unfortunately, when they change the syndication rules, right, any of the coming soon listings aren't going to be here yet, because Bright MLS and down in Central Virginia, they won't syndicate out those listings to any third-party website. So your listing would have to be active in order to use this tool. So I'm going to come in here and just, always, and this one actually I think defaults to all listings. But remember, if you ever come to one of these screens and there's the drop down here that says all listings or only my listings, make sure you select all listings. So now I'm going to come here and let's see if we can find Jeanette's property. So 41488 Deer Point. I'm going to hit search. The more information that you have, the better off you're going to be. But there it is right there. Okay. So the very first one that I see is 41488 Deer Point Court. It says the listing agent. And so I know that's the listing we're creating this page for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on select. So I've had a couple calls this week. I just want to reiterate. I know that we would want to set up this landing page in advance for a lot of different properties. But again, because of the way that coming soon properties are syndicated by our MLS now, that rule change kind of inhibits what we can do on that for a coming soon listing. Now, remember, we cannot publicly, well, we can publicly market it, but that's just the way that the MLS is syndicating out that data. All right. All right. So I saw chat come in here. I'm going to just look at that real quick before I kind of move on to the next one. We'll bring in the listing. That is 1TO. So Fred, you have to just kind of play with that a little bit. I have been able to pull up like sold listings. So I'm not sure about temporary off or what those statuses are and what Bright will syndicate. But go in there and look for that listing if it is temp off. But again, I've found sold listings in here, so I've created kind of a sold landing page if I needed to.
I'm following along and I'm using my temp off and it's letting me do it.
Perfect. So there's your answer. So Tanya is able to find a temp off property. All right. So once I select that listing, you can see here that it pulls it into the little widget editing tool. And it says, okay, you need a header image, right? And so I can go in here and select one of the pictures of the house. So in this case, let me just select the front of the house. And you can also upload your own picture, right? So remember that this isn't subject to MLS rules. So if you wanted to take your cover photo and put a banner across it and say, call Jeanette, right? Call me today. Like you could do that and upload that photo as the cover picture that shows up right here. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to select the one from the listing. So that's the first step, right? Pull that image in.
Kyle, quick question. If you do click on custom image, does it give you the ability to browse? Where do you need to have that custom image saved?
Yep. So this would be a custom image that's saved on your computer. So as soon as you click on custom image here, it says drag or drop, right? Or click to browse. All right. So that's all you have to do, right? Is click the picture, click save and apply. And now that we've done that, now that widget is going to update to Jeanette's listing. So now that we come back in here and it's going to, refresh here a little bit for us, there it is. Okay. So now we can scroll down and it says 41488 Deer Point Court, right? All of this is being pulled from the MLS. Okay. So it's got square feet, bedrooms, bathrooms, year built, right? It's got the description that is being the public description that you put into the MLS is being pulled in. And then we've got a slideshow here that'll be moving automatically. And then the consumer can also come over here and click on the pictures and start going through all the different photos, right? And then I scroll down here, I've got some of the details and features about the listing that is being pulled from the MLS. And then again, it's going to bring in the Google image, right, of where this listing is located. And this is you can play with this, right? So like you can zoom in and I can go all the way in on that landing page and go see exactly where that property is, zoom out, move around, do whatever. All right. So now up top again, we have now done the second widget. So we're going to keep moving forward. So I'm going to do widget number 3. I'm going to go to the next one. All right. Yep, so this one down here, hold on a second. This one down here is the interested let's talk section. All right, so on the lead form, I could change that. So I could change that to say need more information, or actually let's do it this way. Schedule a virtual tour. Okay, so then I can click save and apply. And again, I'm going to come on down here to the lead widget now that it updates, and you guys can see where that is then reflected. Right, so then down here at the bottom, it now says schedule a virtual tour. Right, so that's what you can edit on that widget there. Now let's go to the last one. So 3 of 4, we're going to go to 4. And then down here, we got the download your KW app. So it already says download your KW app. You could change the subtext from the generic one that KW gives you if you want to. You've got the download app button there. And then it should automatically put in your app link. Right, so if someone were to click on this and download the app from here, it would be branded to you automatically. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to hit save and apply. All right, questions on that? Any questions on putting the widgets in and then coming back in here and just editing those widgets from this screen here? All good. Okay. Perfect. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, this is important, guys. This used to not be as important, but as we're getting busier in the system, naming the pages properly will save you a million hours of time in the future. So come in here and you can name the landing page. I'm gonna call it 41488 Deer Point, just so I know exactly which landing page this is. And then I can come up top here and I can hit save landing page. I typically just hit publish page. No one's gonna find this really by Googling it, right as you create it. So I just hit publish, and that way I can go look at the live website and just see what it looks like before I start marketing that out to other people. All right, so that spins there. Any questions on that? I think I saw a chat from this. Let me see what we got there. Is our app link auto-populated? So Kimberly, yes, it should be. That's pulling from the marketing library. So that's where I'd said make sure you go to the marketing library first and make sure all that's filled out. If your app link is in your marketing profile, it will automatically fill into that button there. Okay. All right, so now here I am. Right, so now I'm on the landing pages, and we have created a landing page. Because it's published, this is toggled over to the green. If I wanted to unpublish this page, I could hit that toggle, and it would basically just unpublish the page, and I could edit it and then turn it back on. All right. Now, this is the web address. So if I actually click on this, we should be able to go to the website page when it loads up here, and it should have all those different widgets. So there it is. All right, so this is the live website now. Right, so Deer Point Lane, and again, that could be something different. You could type out something longer there. There's the picture of the property. Right, here's all the photos of the property. Down at the bottom, schedule a virtual tour. So I could go ahead and type that in, capture their information. Just remember, guys, if someone types this in, they're created as a contact in your command system. They're marked as a lead, and you would get a new notification that you have a new lead. So they're not actually scheduling a virtual tour. Let's just make that clear, right? There's no scheduling software included on this lead capture, but you get their information, you know what they filled out, and now you reach out to them and say, great, when can we set up that virtual tour?
You only get the information if they fill that out.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. Exactly. Now down the bottom, right, download my mobile app, and they should have the download app button there, and I can click on that, and that's the bottom of the page.
Quick question.
How does the lead tell you where it comes from?
Yeah, that was my question.
What's that? So how does it tell you which lead, where it comes from?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens typically here is, and this would be something I would go test if I'm you guys, because I have too many contacts now. I'm gonna jump out of here real quick, and I'll just show you that answer to that question. So the first is it should give you the, well, again, a lead will be created. You'll get the little L symbol. So as my leads come up here. All right, so I'm gonna click on Karen here. So if this person came off that landing page, the first thing is here where it says lead source, it would say KW agent site, right? It would come off one of your KW agent sites. And then down here at the very bottom, it should say lead received from and the name of your landing page. Okay? So it's just like the campaigns where it should say from 1140 Lake Heron or 41488, and you know, right, based on the source and the note where they came from. And then you can have that follow-up conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Okay. All right, so a couple other things here. Let me go back over to this. So here we are here. I do want to point out there are a couple things you can do. So on this line, if you go all the way to the right, if you click on these three little dots here, you have a couple things. It says edit, change URL, deactivate, and delete. So you can go in here and you could delete this link, right? If you were done with that page, you want to delete that page, you could do that. Keep in mind also, you could go in here and edit it. And remember, you had a header, you had a listing, you had a lead capture, you had a mobile app. So you could actually go in and edit this. If you sold the listing and then you just deactivated this page and you got a new listing, instead of going back through and building a whole new landing page and stacking those widgets and customizing all of them, you could just go back in and edit this page, go into configure the widgets and change the listing, right? And then fire that link back out again. You wouldn't necessarily need to go build a new page for every single listing. Now, if they're going to overlap, that's going to be an issue.
I was going to say, does it get confused if you rename it? Because I have it named after one property. Let's say I get another property there. I'm going to rename the page.
Yep.
Is it, because I mean, some of those, I've had problems trying to do things like that before. The names get not changed in a timely manner.
I'll tell you what, let's just give it a shot. So I have it here, right? I'm going to click edit. And just on that point, like we were talking about, remember, your widgets are already here. So if you were just going to change the listing, you would go down to the bottom and click on configure widgets, okay, down below there. And then let's say we change this to be, just say 1140 test, all right? And I come back over here and hit save landing page. I'll say yes, go ahead and update it. And we come back over into that tab again. Let's see. So we'll let that load back up. All right, so I'll chat come in as that's loading back. There are a whole bunch of chats coming in. All right, so is our app link populated? Got that. All right, can we shorten the HTTP address? I'm going to show you that next. If I want to top promote this page, can we shorten the name on the site address? Cindy, yes, you can. All right, so Michelle's just jumping in there helping me out. Thank you. All right, so here's the other thing. So it looks like that did work, Tanya, at least now. Could be different 10 minutes from now, who knows? If I click these three dots here, it says change URL. So this is not great, but this is a move in the right direction. So basically, guys, pages.kitty.com/Kyle Holler and / this is your quid, right? This is your KWUID number. That's not going to change. So you cannot edit any of that. What you can do, though, is come in and just change everything in that /. So I can come in and do 41488 Deer Point, and that could become the link. Now, to me, that's still long. Depends on where you're putting it. If I'm putting it on Facebook and someone's just going to click on the link, who cares how long the link is? That really doesn't matter to me. I believe what Michelle said there, right? Michelle, did you say bit.ly? Is that what you had commented in the comments?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other option you have is, I'm going to just hit create there, right? And that's now the code. So just keep in mind, guys, right? There are some really great free resources out there, like bit.ly, where you can basically go in and come into this bit.ly website, and they'll create a small little URL for you, right? So if I scroll down here, it just says shorten your link. So I could say, all right, this is the website link, right? I'm going to grab this URL. I hit copy. I go to bit.ly and I say shorten this link for me. So I hit paste, right? And I'll say shorten. And so now they're giving me this short little code right here. And that could become the link that I put out there for people to go visit that landing page. Right?
You can also edit that bit.ly part after the bit.ly.
Yeah, so you could do https bit.ly/41488 Deer Point. So you can change the end of that just like you can change it on the command side. Now here's the other option. This is more expensive, but I don't think it's that expensive. If I got a really nice listing, remember, you could also go to somewhere like GoDaddy.com or custom domains on Google, and buy 41488 deerpointlane.com. Right, I could go buy that URL, and that URL would probably cost me $12 a year to buy that URL. And then I simply set up the forwarding. When someone types in that address, it goes to this landing page. So instead of marketing either a bit.ly link or this link, I could be going around and saying, hey, visit 41488 deerpointlane.com. And when they type that in, they land on this page right here. All right, so those are a couple of your options about how to market that listing landing page. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, see a lot of shaking heads, so that's good. All right, so that's it. Okay, now what you can do is go back and play with the widgets a little bit. There is a footer widget that puts in, like, some of the information about the office down the bottom. I would definitely suggest doing that. What I want to do is, because we're already at 1:30, so I want to make sure I hit this. We're going to go a little more advanced now. And some people are always asking, like, hey, I want to, so Cindy's asking where do I get the Metro pick from? Pixabay.com, right? It's a free website, royalty-free photos. I just posted the link in the chat. So all of the pictures on my website are from Pixabay.com. And so I just went and I could download those royalty-free images so that it takes it from a generic website to look obviously like the DC metro area where I work. Perfect. All right, is Bitly free? Michelle, yes, right? You can do Bitly's for free?
Yes, I think they give you like 10,000. I've never run out.
Okay, so whoever gets the 10,000 first, let us know. All right, so here's what I want to go look at, which is, let me see if one of these has it. Sorry, I should have looked at this before we started. I think this does. Okay.
So when Tanya edited it, she also needed to click those little buttons and she needed to go back in and change all the pictures now that she changed it to another listing, right?
Well, so remember, the pictures automatically change. So Tanya would go back in and she would edit the widget, right? So she'd go in and edit the widget, and then all the pictures and all the listing information would change to that new listing.
Right.
Okay. Now she would have to, in this case, right, if she changed it to a different address, make sure in that top widget as well, if you put the address, you'd have to go back and change that address. That's why I was saying, if you type in like the cruise group or whatever it's going to be, right, or just your name, realtor, then you wouldn't have to worry about that one, and you would only be worried about the listing widget. All right, so this one is what I was trying to pull up here. So you guys can see here, I had an agent that reached out to me last week, and they said, hey, listen, like I have a Matterport like link, right? How can I get that into the site so that people know where to go see that link? So what I'm going to show you now is we're going to go a little bit deeper, which is in order to create something like that, we've got to go create some HTML code. And before anyone falls off their chair, this is very easy, right? It's like 3 steps. So that's why I'm going to walk you through. And remember, this is recorded. So I will post it later today, and you'll be able to go back and kind of rewatch this. But it's a lot simpler. I see Kimberly's going to fall off her couch, right? We're good. We'll get there. So this is what we're going to do, right? We're going to be able to go put in some text, and then there will be a link here where someone will be able to click on and go look at that Matterport video, or go look at it on YouTube or something along those lines. Okay? All right. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is, if you just go to Google and you type in online HTML editor, you see it right there on my screen. Those are the 3 words I want you to type in. Online HTML editor. Click on that, and the very first link that shows up on Google is this one right here, HTML-online editor. Now, I promise you guys, if you go back and do this, this is easy. This is not hard. You just got to do it once or twice, and you'll be able to really up your game on your websites. So online HTML editor, I'm going to open that up. And now I'm on this screen here. All right. Everyone that's following along, did everybody get here? Tanya, you good? Okay. Fred, how you doing?
It's got like tons of stuff on it.
All right,
Like,
so I
yours
think
is
it's
clear.
because I've been in here so many times, it just doesn't show up anymore. So you can just like put your cursor, highlight everything, and just hit delete. So try to go to this left side here, highlight the text. I think the first time you come in, they're just doing some stuff there, and delete it so that you get the 2 blank screens that look like this. I'm going to take my time here because I know everyone, I can see everyone writing, so I'm just going to go off of that. All right, so online HTML editor, we're going to get to a blank screen that looks like this. So what we're going to do here is we can basically type on this side like it was a Word document, and whatever we type in, they're going to give us the code automatically on the right side. So we don't have to worry about creating any sort of HTML code. All right, so here's the steps. And we're basically going to do this one right here. And you can take this more advanced if you want to. So I'm going to go to my online HTML editor. And here's the first thing I do, which is I'm going to hit the Align Center button, right? I'm going to hit the Align Center button so that all of my text is in the middle of the web page, not on the far left-hand side. I've had a few people that's happened to this week. So I'm going to do Align Center, and then right here on this, see where it says Formats? This is your text size. So go to Formats and click on Heading 1. Everybody okay? All right, so we just did Center, Formats, Heading 1. So I'm going to click back on Center, and then Heading 1, right? And then I'm going to type in View Virtual Tour here. All right, everyone's still with me. We're almost done, guys. We have like 2 steps left. All right, now I'm going to, so in order to achieve this type of situation, you see where here is a link, right? And someone knows that they're going to click on that. So going back to our HTML editor, I'm going to, let me put a little exclamation point on there. I'm going to highlight the word here, or you could do the entire thing if you wanted to. So if they clicked on any of the words, they're going to go to the virtual tour. So it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do this one so that this word becomes blue and becomes that hyperlink. So once I highlight it, there's a little link button right here in the formatting tools. It says Insert Link. It looks like a little chain. And you can go ahead and click that. All right, so I've put in View Virtual Tour. I've highlighted the word here, and I've clicked on the little Insert Edit Link button. This screen pops up. This is the last thing we have to do. So it's saying the text that will display is here, right? We're going to leave that. When someone clicks on here, where are we taking them to? So this is where you're going to insert your URL for your Matterport tour or the YouTube video. You guys with me? So I'm going to go over to YouTube real quick. Let me just go grab a quick video somewhere. I'll click my buddy Jay Cermak here. I know a lot of you guys watch Jay's videos. So just the first thing that pops up. All right, so let's say you had a video, and again, this doesn't need to be YouTube, right? So like if you got a link from Matterport and they're like, hey, this is where people can go visit the tour, that's the link you're gonna copy and paste here. So I'm gonna go get a video just because it makes sense. So I'm gonna click on Command Opportunities, right? And then I'm just gonna copy and paste this URL up top. And again, this URL could be this, it could be a Matterport, it could be anything. I'm gonna hit copy. I'm gonna go back to the HTML editor. So again, when someone clicks here, I want them to go to my virtual tour that's there. Any questions on that? Because that's the main thing that I get a question on. All right, so then I'm simply just gonna hit OK. All right, and you can see now that when I come back over here, that's now a hyperlink. And now I'm gonna be able to copy this HTML code. So that's the next step. So once we format this here, then you're gonna go grab this code. So just so you guys know, we're not gonna do it right now, but you can come in here and you can write a lot more stuff here. So this doesn't need to be just a one-liner. You know, you could say, contact me today, right? Or you could just freehand on the left-hand side, whatever you type is what will appear on the command website page. You can add images, you can do some extra things here as well.
So Kyle, this, if you don't want to go this deep, that's all right. This is the other widget. You've got a video widget on the landing pages, but you don't on the agent site pages.
Yep.
To embed.
Yep. So I would use this on the agent website pages.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yep.
But like if I wanted to embed the Facebook Live, I did in the page.
Right.
That's painful. Yeah.
Yes. And I want to show you real quick because I was just helping Jessie in the office. I'm not sure if she's on the call. Kind of show you what you can do with this tool, because this is what we did, which was she has, you know, a video about marketing her home or marketing homes. And so on her agent site, we were able to create the code. So on her agent site, you know, we used this HTML tool and we were able to get video. So now someone can go to her website and watch her YouTube videos, right? So just keep the same thing. This online editing tool works on both the landing pages and the websites. All right, so let's just stick with this right here, and then I can take some more advanced questions if we need to. All right, so I wrote out my text the way I want it to appear, and now I've got HTML code here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to simply highlight the HTML code and click copy. Couple head nods here. Everybody good? Fully lost anybody? All right, good. Everyone's shaking their heads. All right, so copy your code. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to command. Now, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit the page we already created. All right, so I'm going to edit the one that we did here for Jeanette. So let me go here. Let me delete out all these so we don't get confused. All right. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on edit, right, on the landing page. Now this will have the 4 widgets that we stacked originally. So once we get in here, right, they'll have those 4 widgets. Obviously, Tanya, that name did save, so that's good. All right, so here they all come. All right, so there's my 4 widgets, right? Now, you guys can see here that we have a widgets drop down. Then we also have a content blocks and layout blocks. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think most of these are useless. And anyone else who's played with them knows they're not the best. Now, for what this is, just to kind of stay on task here, there is though one under the content block. So again, this is the way it looks originally. To get to this, I'd have to click on content blocks. And when I pull that up, one of them says text right here. So that widget that says text or content block says text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that text box in, and you can see that green line right there. I want to drop that text box in between the header and the listing widget, so that's where that appears. So I'm going to hit drop, and you can see it says insert your text right here. You guys see that? So all I have to do now is I'm going to delete this text, and what am I going to paste there?
The HTML you just created.
The HTML I just created. So now I'm going to hit Control V, and there's the HTML code, right, that I just pulled over from that online editor, right? So I was here, I wrote out View Virtual Tour, I added the link, and I got the code over here, and I just highlighted it and copied it, and then back over in Command, I'm going to paste that into the text box.
It'll have a black background.
It'll have a white background, but it'll be black. It'll be black text. All right. Now I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to hit Publish Page. So you will not see this in the preview. Just kind of a heads up here, right? So you're going to put the HTML in, and then just go here, and you can hit Publish Page. It's going to save those changes. I will say yes. And now when we go look at the site that we just created, the landing page we created, all right? So I'll click on this again. We'll pull up a new page. It should look like this. Good, Tanya? All right, good. That was worth everyone's time today. So now I've got 41488 Deer Point Lane, View Virtual Tour here. If someone clicks on that, in this case, it's going to take me to YouTube, right? It's going to take me to that YouTube video that I put in there.
Mhm.
But that could be your Matterport. That could be your tour. That could be whatever. All right, we see that? So that's how you're able to do a little bit more customization on these sites, is by creating what you want to see in that HTML editor, using a text box, and just pasting the code into the text box. And now I've got new virtual tour, got it all down here, right? And I've got all that different stuff here.
Oh, it's not coming over.
All right, questions?
Something I'm not doing right.
Arturo, is that you saying where are you stuck at?
I copy paste that the HTML code.
Yep.
I see that on the edit on the actual website. I see the widget in there.
Okay.
But save it, publish it, and it doesn't. Somehow it's not.
So you're saying you're not seeing this in the middle?
Right.
Okay. Did you refresh this landing page? Just to refresh it based on the edit that we just made?
Yeah.
Okay. And does this look the same on your screen here, Arturo? Like in terms of like the code and things like that came over on the right-hand side?
Pretty much.
Okay. And then let's just make sure we go over the steps. So then also when you go in to edit the one, you added the text widget, deleted the text, and pasted the code.
Check it out. Thank you. Yeah, I see the code to the left on the actual site. It shows it basically what's on the HTML website, but I'll play with it. Thank you.
Okay. What are you using as your landing pages for? Can you review it before publishing it? I like it. All right, so a couple of questions in there, which was one, so unfortunately, when you put in HTML code, you can't see it until it's published. But what I was saying was, realize if you publish it, you are the only person in the entire world that will see this. So just publish it, because no one is going to find this link unless you send it out to somebody. So just publish it. You can come and see what it looks like, and then if you need to go back and edit it, then you can. And then again, not until you send somebody that link or the bit.ly link are they going to find this page. That's just a note on that. Let's see, I had a couple more chats coming in there.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Is there a way where you can put your landing page onto the agent website?
No, so we just started with that. So when you create a page in here, you've got one of two options, right? Either on your agent site or a landing page. So they are two separate things. So no is the short answer.
Okay. Yeah, I've created both. I've messed around with it. I was just wondering if there was another way to just have like the listing landing page part of your website.
Yeah, so we were talking about that. So I do believe that widget will come to that side, so we can use it, but it's not there right now.
Okay. And then another question was, if you go to the like regular KW homepage, just kw.com,
yep,
they have like other stuff on their underneath like their search page, like the search portion.
Yep.
Are we ever gonna get that, you think?
So ours are just in a different spot. So once I type in or start searching for property, then I'll see those different neighborhoods. But no, like the agent sites have a different template than the office sites or the KW International site.
Okay.
Okay.
So once we have this link, we can put it out on Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Kate had asked a question, which was, let me delete, I'm going to close this down. So, all right. So Kate had asked the question, what would you use a landing page for?
Right.
This is just strictly a personal decision, right? What's going to work best for you? So this is the landing page that I created for Deer Point. So let's say Jeanette had this listing and wanted to market it to her consumers. She could send them here. What do you guys think are the advantages and disadvantages of the landing page? What do you see as the issue?
It's not connected to my website, or they can't search anything else.
Okay, so that's the number one that I would say, which is, now, some sellers want an individual website, okay? And that's been something that's part of like people's marketing, which is like, we'll build a customized website for your listing. So this might just check that box, honestly, okay? The disadvantage, and Jeanette just said it there, which is, let's say I'm a consumer and I'm friends with Jeanette on Facebook and she posts this and I go here and this house is way too expensive for me, right? Or I don't want to live out in Albany, I'm looking in Alexandria. There's nowhere for that person to like dig into other listings, right? This is a listing landing page specific to the listing. So if I don't see what I'm looking for here, I'm either going to leave this page or I can click on down here, go ask a question. The other option is, this is what a lot of people are doing. This is what a lot of people are doing for the campaigns, which would be, this is my website, but Jeanette could easily go do this on her website. All I did was search for her property by address. I just typed in the address name. And this is the landing page on my website for her listing that just the IDX provides. So I can go through and see all the pictures, and I can see all the stats, the stats and details, and all those things. And then if I don't like this house, I'm also seeing nearby homes, right? I also have a place where I can go up top and I can just search for property and search any zip code I want to as well. So that's the difference between the two. I would see more of a use of, sending them to my agent site rather than a landing page. But I definitely have had people that have done both. I mean, I've had a lot of people this past month or so ask me to help them build this page. So when they're marketing their listing, now the thing they're highlighting is the virtual tour. You're not going to get a nice virtual tour link on this page. Right?
So
send them
not there
to,
right now.
you could send them to your own site from here. If you
Yes.
put, come see my site, and you could send them to probably the third page instead of just the first page.
Absolutely. So let me kind of, I think what Fred's saying there is, let me come back here for a second, right? I have, check out the virtual tour here. And this is where I could, again, I could come down and I could go in the middle and I could say, see, that's the main text. So I might do heading 2. For more listings, visit kyleh.jw.com. Right? And I can make this a link. Again, do the same thing we just did. I'll say make that a link, and I'll just type in my URL. So kyleh.jw.com.
But can you go to your third page which one has the sort option? First, second, third, or fourth page of your website?
Has the what option?
Which one has the, shows all the listings?
You'd have a featured listing page.
Yeah, but remember, guys, this is an individual listing landing page. So this is only about 41488 Deer Point Lane. There is no other place to go search for listings.
No, I understand that, but in your own website,
Yeah,
one of them has the
I got you.
search.
Yeah, so
So
what
is
you're
it-
saying here is if I go back to the head of my website, so that's a good point, Fred. I like where you're going with this. I think I know where you're going with this, which is I go back to my website, and instead of just bring them to my generic like front page of my website,
Right.
I could go in and, Jeanette, what's the zip code for this property? Do you know?
20105.
20105, all right? So I can do a search for 20105 on the website, okay? It's going to give me a URL here that will be specific to that zip code, right? So here comes all the listings that are in that zip code. So I think what Fred is saying is, don't just take them to the generic page. I could actually copy and paste this, right? And then going back to that online tool, when I'm doing my link instructions, instead of taking them to my home page, I could take them to basically a filtered view, which would be for 20108 or whatever it was, right?
Sure.
So now, right now that I made this edit here, I would have to copy this text, right? So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna click copy. I'm gonna go back to command. I'm gonna edit my landing page. Right? And then I'll just go into that text section where I already posted the original code. I'll just delete it and post the new code, right? And now I'll add that second line that'll say visit my website at kyleh.com.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
This is great. So I know you said that this is only for a specific, what do you call it, a landing page, right? For a specific address and so
Yep.
on. Can we create something like this? I know you said this already, but there's no way to really bring this over into creating different pages onto the site itself?
No, so there is not right now. Again, on the site, you could just search for the property and get to a landing page for that, right? Like again, if I search I can get to this page, which is kind of a pre-built page, but I cannot build this on the agent website.
Okay. Second question is, and maybe it's not different class, but the what do you call this thing? The market snapshots, right? Or the neighborhood. Is that something you can create? You bring onto the actual website per se, or?
So again, I don't believe the Market Snap widget is available on the website side. It is here though. Okay. So if you wanted to bring that onto this landing page, I'll just drop it here real quick so we can see what it looks like. This will, now remember, I have to configure this widget. It's only in step 1. So if I went back down to configure widgets, there'd be another one and it would give me some of these different stats and active stats and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. So
but that's again, that's an individual page.
Yes,
right?
correct.
It's not get attached to the website. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. So here, guys, let me just kind of finish this up, right? So we added this for more listings, visit kyleh.jw.com. I copied the text. I came back over to my my page here. So I'm just gonna delete, right, the text that I had first typed in there, the HTML code I had first typed in. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go back over, I'll hit paste. Now it's the longer code. And I can go here to publish page. And I'll say yes. And when we go back to this landing page now. Right, now it looks like that.
There it is.
Okay. So view virtual tour. For more listings, visit kyleh.kw.com. Now, you could also do this. This is going to be kind of the last thing. I know we're kind of digging into this piece of it, but this is where, I mean, most of you guys know how to do those widgets, so this is where I wanted to kind of dig in here a little bit. Let's say you had a YouTube video walkthrough of your listing. You don't even need to do the click here button, because in Facebook, you can get the embed code for any video. All right, so again, let's just say this is your channel and you have a listing video of your listing. All right, so if you pull up that video, pause here so I don't hear Jay. So if you pull up that video, you will notice on there is a share button. If you click the share button, one of the options here is embed code. Right, so I can click that embed code and it actually gives me HTML. Right, so I can just copy this. And again, going back to edit this page again, if I want to go here and do an edit, I could just add another text box and add that code there. And instead of having to click somewhere to go see the video, now the video is going to be directly on your page. So I'm going to hit edit.
Follow it through. Yeah, I was going to say, and help with the sizing. That's where I got stuck. I don't think Facebook gives you all the frame information.
Gotcha. All right, so here. Now, typically, sometimes you can look in the code and see the sizing details, and you can edit them, Michelle, just so you know. So if it like were to say, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in another little text box. I'm going to put it underneath of the original one that we had done with that first code. And now here, excuse me, I'm going to paste the HTML code for the video. I'm going to hit publish page. I'll say yes. Now we go back to Jeanette's page and I hit refresh.
Yeah, I was able to do it with YouTube on a listing, but I wasn't, when I wanted to do it with Facebook this week, I wasn't able to size it.
So here's actually my my suggestion, which would be, so so here, do you see where it says Michelle 560 by, oh, I just clicked off of it. Now the other option is, guys, is here, okay? I could just keep building here. And so maybe that's the best option versus doing multiple blocks. So I could just go down again. I could do center. And here it says insert video, right? And what's the source? And so I can just go here and I can grab the video. And I can say, this is the video, and hit OK. And you'll see it brings it in and now it's centered, right? And so now, let's just keep going this way. I'll just copy this code now that I added that in. So I hit copy. I come back over to my page. And instead of having like a separate line item for the video, we'll just kind of keep building on that editing tool. All right, so let me go look at the chat real quick because I see a bunch of chats coming in. That's good. Look at that. All right, so let's see. So Tanya, I just published 93 when I did a Google search, pops up even in incognito mode. Yeah, so like, what did you type in, Tanya, like in the Google search?
I just started typing in the address, and as soon as I typed in the address, the first thing that came up was the KW pages. And when I clicked on it, it brought me right to it.
To your landing page or to the website page?
To the landing page.
Oh, interesting. All right, well.
I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's
good then, because before the SEO wasn't really working that well, where you type in the address and you couldn't find that page. So I'd rather it be there. So that's good to know. Let's see. Kate said, if I wanted to add a link to register for an event or virtual open house, I will add an Eventbrite link with the HTML editor. Yep, exactly. So we had someone the other day from the Loudon office actually reached out to me, and we embedded like Calendly. So if any of you guys have gone and booked time with me on that little Calendly link that I've done, you can get HTML code for that. So what they did was, instead of booking 30 minutes with Kyle, they created their own Calendly page, and it was booked 30 minutes to view the tour, or tour the house. So they actually use that as a scheduling tool. So you can definitely do that. So here,
can you give us that site again? I'm not understanding.
Yeah, sure. So let me finish this real quick, and then we'll go back and do that. So I'm just gonna delete this text.
There's also a widget that says video. So would you be able to put that right in the middle?
You could, but I've seen issues with that where it's not working properly. So that's why I'm saying, like, if those widgets work properly, then yes. But if not, if you use the HTML, you could kind of get to this desired look from there. All right.
All right. So if anybody has clients that wants to buy my house, please feel free to show it.
I got a great website set up for you. Except it's showing you labs page. All right, so let's go back and talk about the Calendly one real quick because it sounds like there's some interest in that. So let me get back here. Where am I going? Let's go move that one. All right, so this one, I believe, is the one I'm talking about. Yep. Okay. All right, so we're going to put a whole bunch of command things together here for you. So I hope you're kind of following what I'm doing. So I had an agent that had a new listing, and they wanted to schedule a campaign, a Facebook campaign, and that campaign would say, new listing, schedule a 30-minute virtual tour of the property. So they needed a landing spot where someone could come and book that time. All right. So the first thing that they did is they went to the website. So there's a website called calendly.com. All right. So calendly.com. This is the site that I use to book that one-on-one time. And when you log into calendly.com, by default, it gives you these 3 different types of time slots. There's basically a 15-minute time slot, there's a 30-minute time slot, and a 60-minute time slot that are kind of pre-developed. So let's say you just want to use the 30-minute group. So what you do is, the first thing you do is you can actually come in here and you can click on the 30-minute time blocks, and you can pick when the time blocks are available. So in my case, right, when I come in and look at my calendar, these are the time blocks that I've set up to be able to do one-on-ones. So instead of it being Monday through Friday, you guys could have Saturday and Sunday between 12 and 3, and that's when people can book half-hour sections of time with you. You guys with me? So I would have, instead of dates here, times here, it'd be Saturday and Sunday. And then once you pick your times, once you select those times, then just back on this little home page here, up top here, you see the little gear icon under the calendar symbol there. So you can click that little gear, and you can see that one of the options here says add to website. And that's giving you HTML code. Okay, so I'm going to click on add to website. And I'm just going to do inline embed. So that's what I'm going to select here. So how do you want to add it? I'm going to say inline embed, and I'm going to say continue. And then here's the code. Right, so I'm just going to simply click copy. And now I'll go back over, and let's just kind of keep working on Jeanette's page here. So again, I could go in here and I could do edit. And instead of it being the link to, or in addition to, the link to the virtual tour, all right, so if I came in here, and I'm just going to kind of keep adding to this. Obviously, this is starting to not look very good, but about a live site. So I'll come back in here. I'll do a content block. I'll bring in another text box, drop it right there. You see the green line. So I just hit drop, and then same thing we did before. All I'm going to do here is hit Control V and paste that Calendly HTML I just copied. Now I go over here. I hit Publish Page. I'll say yes. Now let's go look at that page again. This is it. And so now it worked properly. I've got Deer Point Lane. I got schedule a virtual tour here. I've got a link to go to my website. I've got the labs thing. And then I've got a calendar link here where then people can book that 30-minute time block. And so this is the way it looks. Someone could come in and they could click on the 24th. When they click on the 24th, it would show the available time slots left for the tour. They click on 11:30 a.m. I hit confirm. It's going to ask for their name, their email address, right? And anything else you want to share, and hit schedule event. And now you get an email and it says new tour scheduled, right? Or new event booked for 11:30 on Saturday. And then that 11:30 time slot will not show up on the widget anymore. So the next person that comes in behind you, the only option they have is 12 o'clock, right? So there's no overlapping of booking. All right. Any questions on that?
So through that, Kyle, this is Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Do you have you get their email and stuff, and then you guys coordinate on how you're doing it, like through FaceTime or what have you?
All right, so this might be worth it for you guys. So when you guys book time with me one-on-one, I don't set up the Zoom link. So you can integrate Calendly, this program here, integrates with Zoom.
Okay.
So what happens is that as soon as you book the time, you get a calendar invite, and on that invite is a Zoom link. And then I also get a calendar invite with the Zoom link. So
Perfect.
there is no scheduling a Zoom. We both just go to our calendar at 11:30, click on the Zoom link, and there we are together.
Perfect. So you don't. So how do you get their information though? Do you capture?
Yeah. So here, in order for them to book the time, they've got to put their name and email, and then they hit schedule event, and you get an email with their name and their email address, and you get a calendar invite with the Zoom link created as well.
So this is kind of a lead capture tool in itself, the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Does that mean you've linked Zoom to Candly or?
Yeah. So yep. If you go to Calendly, so I signed up for it. I don't know, what was that? 3 weeks ago. It was free until yesterday, and then it was $99 for the year, and it saved my life in 3 weeks. Like, obviously, a lot of people booking time being at home right now, so it's awesome, and it's really helped me be organized because I don't have to worry about creating Zoom links or anything like that. All I have to do is go to my schedule like at 11:30 and click go, and I'm like right there in front of the other person, right? So it just has cut down a lot of confusion.
Bunch of services that were free, and all of a sudden everybody's using their going up on price.
Yeah. So just one of those things. So again, I got away with it for like 3 weeks. So if you got a couple listings, maybe try it, right? See if people are booking through that or it's working. And if it is, then go ahead and do the upgraded account. But go ahead and try the free account. I was able to connect Zoom, all of that in the free account. And then it told me I had 1 day left yesterday and I had to upgrade. All right, guys, 2:04. Ran a little bit over, but I hope that was helpful. And again, the same things we taught here with that HTML editor and just putting it into a text box, that does work on the websites as well. So you can, so like Michelle, you asked me how we got the video on the website. That is it. Like there was no special code. We just did the exact same process we did here. All right, so after we're done the call, I will let the video start converting, and then I'll go ahead and upload it to YouTube and post it on the Facebook page. And you can go back and watch it. And if you have any questions or you kind of need some one-on-one help with it, let me know.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
Thank you. Got a quick question
Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
or comment. We've been trying in our productivity group there with Harry, that thing about naming the campaigns and seeing if they show up with contacts.
Yep.
And it's hit or miss for some reason.
So you're saying you guys are doing a campaign, and when the lead comes in, the note is not appearing telling you where they came from?
Yes, not appearing where they came from, no.
Okay.
Now, I don't know whether it's because we have multiple campaigns going on. Some of us have 2 or 3.
I only have one campaign going on, and mine is not showing up like associated to the name that I named the campaign either.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like that might be a little bit of a bug. Let me just show you this, just so you have another option to know where people came from. All right. So if that's not working, that is the design. So if that's not working, it might just be like a KW thing. I've got my call today at 4 with KWRI, and I'll try to ask that question and see what's going on.
It sounds like the same thing, like coming in from the websites and the mobile. I've reported it, and they keep telling me it's coming.
Okay.
It shows no context.
Okay.
It says, I want to see this, and I'm like, but what was this?
All right, that is coming. I have seen screenshots last night. Actually, we were testing that. So what Michelle's talking about is one of the frustrations is when someone likes a property or adds things to a collection, we can't see that in command. That is very close because we were testing that last night. Actually, it did not pass our test, but we're getting closer. I guess I'll put it that way. So I just want to point this out, Carl. If it's not showing up that way, also remember you should be able to see your campaigns right in a line, and then if you click on, like in this case, Lake Heron Drive, these are the 14 leads that came from that ad. So if I click on 14, it'll take me to a little smart view with those 14 people. And my suggestion would be is you can go in here, if that's not working, just so you can keep them organized, I'd pull up those 14.
And then just bulk tag them?
Bulk tag them, yep. And I would bulk tag them.
That's what we're doing.
All right, so I just would come in here, I'd just do a bulk tag, and then put the address so that you know exactly which campaign at least they came off of.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Great.
Yep. I'll ask about that at 4 o'clock, but hope everyone has a great day, and let me know if you need anything, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, see ya.
Thanks.